Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to my live. And if you happen to be catching this later, welcome to the replay. If you are watching later, make sure you put in hashtag replay with any of your questions or comments so that I can see that you have watched later. If you are hopping on the live, go ahead and tell me hi in the comments so I know that you're here. And also tell me where you are watching from today. My name is Robin, and I'm with Robin's Egg Blue Creations. And I'm also an independent designer with Couture. I live in Kansas, and that's where I'm broadcasting from. And also, speaking of broadcasting, I wanted to let you know that I'm using an online platform called StreamYard. It allows me to go live in multiple destinations. So right now I'm live in 3 locations: my Facebook business page, my Facebook private group called the Crafty Collab, and my YouTube channel. So if you happen to hear me refer to other comments and you don't see them in your feed, they might be commenting from another platform. So I just wanted to let you know that. So again, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you have any big plans for the weekend. I'm definitely glad that it is the weekend and that it is Saturday. Hello, Mr. Jason. He's watching from the living room. So today we're going to be making a really cute but quick project using some 5x5 box frames and these little scrap ovals that I've had for quite a while. And we'll be using the reusable silkscreen transfers and some chalk paste as well from Couture. First, I want to prepare my surfaces. These are wood surfaces, so I want to wax those surfaces so that my sticky back reusable transfers do not pull up any raw fibers or pull up any of the paint that I've put down. So I'm just using some of the surface wax that is now back in stock. So I'm just using an old t-shirt. I'm just going to rub the wax on these pumpkin shapes and kind of get it buffed in. What the wax does, it's kind of twofold. It kind of evens out some of the uneven surfaces, like the ridges where the paint may have raised the wood fibers. If you notice when you paint, sometimes your wood feels really scratchy. That's because the moisture in the paint has raised those fibers, and you either need to sand those and or wax them, and I've done both. The t-shirt is leaving little hints of color. So I'm just waxing these. And I have sanded these so they are a little rustic around the edges. I don't know if you can, yep, you can see that. Got wax on my watch. I think these came in a scrap bag of wood shapes that I got at the local craft store years ago. I've seen this craft, around Pinterest and on the internet. So I thought, hey, I could use those little wax circles, and they fit perfectly in, or wax circles, wood ovals, and they fit perfectly in these box frames. So now I'm going to wax these little box frames. These are a double-sided surface, so you can chalk on the other side as well. These are typically a one-time use surface. You could certainly sand the chalked design off and then repaint the surface, or you can seal it and make it permanent, either one. But we have these in a 3x3, 5x5, 5x7, 9x9, 9x12, and a 6x18. I think that's the largest size. But very versatile, double-sided surfaces. They do come with a lighter wood edge, but I did darken these up a little bit. I prefer the darker edge. Okay, so those are good and waxed. Okay, so then I think I'm gonna do the box frames first. So I'm gonna use this welcome star tile on the background. Again, these are reusable, so I am gonna write the name on the back so I know which backer sheet this transfer goes on. And I also know that this is the back side of the backer sheet. So that's the Welcome Star Trio. I'm just going to use the pattern from the Hello, I Love You. And then this one is a retired transfer, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's the 8.5 by 11 polka dots. And you'll notice that this transfer has this white line. That is a cut line. So you're welcome to cut your transfer apart, backer and all, but I like to keep my backer sheet intact. So I'm just going to pull up an edge of this transfer, and I'm just going to score that line with my scissors. That way the transfer itself is cut apart, but my backer sheet is still intact. And because this is a wood surface, and this is a sticky back transfer, I have waxed, but I also want to fuzz. And fuzzing just lays down a layer of lint, excuse me, so that this transfer is not so sticky that it pulls and stretches when I go to remove it. So I'm just going to do that a couple times. You don't have to have a fancy fuzzing cloth. A plain terry cloth towel will do, or even your shirt will work, or your jeans, or your pants. So I'm going to place this in here. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. I'm just going to try to rub it down as best as I can, going mostly to the edges, but our wood shapes are going to cover up most of the surface. So I'm not terribly worried. Sorry, you probably can't see that, about getting it all the way in there. I need to keep in mind where, okay, so that's the top. In fact, just so I know where the top is at all times, because I have chalked designs before and done them upside down. Sometimes some of our surfaces will come with a hanger on the back. This one I have pre-drilled my holes for something else, so I wanted to make sure I know where the top is. Okay, so I'm going to take, I think I'm going to use white. So this is our chalk paste. It is a chalk in wet form. It is dry semi-permanent, but it is water soluble. What that means is that I can lay it down. It's fairly scratch resistant, but once I want to remove it on surfaces that it's removable, I can spray water on it and wash it right off. So I'm just dipping my squeegee into the chalk paste. Got some crusties on there. And then I'm just going to take my squeegee and I'm just going to pull it down the transfer. Probably should have used a smaller squeegee. Oops. I'm just pulling it across the silkscreen areas, trying to even it out as I go. I'm making a mess. Sometimes these small areas are a little hard to work in sometimes. And I can just scrape the excess back in my jar. Try to get this pulled up. I can get a hold of it. That's interesting, but it's a little distressed, but I kind of like that look. I'm going to go ahead, because I want to use this transfer on the other surface. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly clean it. So I'm going to spray it down with some water. And then I'm going to grab some disinfectant wipes. I have baby wipes over here for my hands, but I don't want to use those on my transfer because I'm not always for sure if there's any lotions in there. So I'm going to grab just a disinfectant wipe. Just going to start wiping all that off. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. Make sure you say hi in the comments and tell me that you're here. The new one, get that pretty clean. That's pretty good. Okay. So I'm just going to let this hang out in the microfiber part of my fuzzing cloth, and that'll help it dry. It'll kind of help pick up some of that moisture. We'll just let that hang out for just a little bit. So now I'm going to do, I have a mess in there. I'm just going to try to, do I have a Q-tip? I don't know where my Q-tips went. Oh, I see them. Try to get this little part cleaned up. Maybe. I have to wait till that dries a little bit. I got a little bit on the frame, but it will come off with a little bit of water. Sometimes it's better though to wait till it's dry, which I probably should have done. And if you make too big of a mess, you can always go back in and paint over those little splotches. Okay, so we're going to take, I'll show you on the one we haven't chalked yet. We're just going to make a pumpkin out of these 3 little ovals. And shoot, I forgot some stems, but we'll get those figured out. So that's what our pumpkin's going to look like. So I'm going to chalk these 3 pumpkins. I'm going to do 2. The 2 that will be in the background with the polka dots. And I'm actually going to steal the other 2 of them from here because I can do 4 at a time on this larger transfer. So I'm going to place the 4 background pumpkins just on the backer sheet. And then I'm just going to lay the transfer over the pumpkins or over the ovals. I'm going to press it down. Make sure it's adhered well. And I think I'm going to, let's do some shimmer pumpkin. So this is one of our shimmer colors. It is a shimmer orange or shimmer pumpkin is the official name, and it has has a little bit of glitter and shimmer in it. So I'm going to use my smaller squeegee. So I'm just going to dip my squeegee into the paste. And I'm just going to rub it over the transfer area. I'm kind of holding down the transfer at the same time. This one's lost a little bit of its sticky, but it still works. So we're kind of going for a tone on tone. Just pulling that paste over the silk screen areas with my squeegee. Okay, put the excess back in my jar. And then we'll pull up this transfer. Okay, so move those off. And I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to spray it down until I'm ready to actually clean it. That way that paste doesn't totally dry in the silk screen. Put that away. So let's dry these. It's just some subtle color. You can see the, there we go. Just a little subtle difference. Does anybody have big plans for today or for the weekend? Thanks, Jason. Keep in mind the shimmer colors do take a little longer to dry than the regular paste. Okay, so we'll put, like I said earlier, it dries semi-permanent hard. But if I had put this on, say, a chalkboard or glass, you can spray it with water and it comes right off. Okay, so let's pull these two up. These are going to be the front ridge of the pumpkin, and I just wanted to put a little bit of a different texture on there. Oops, I forgot to cut this one apart too. This one will be a little bit more tricky because we'll kind of have to piece it, but let's see if I can get it to work. So I'm just going to try to use the first three of the pattern. And then, like I said, we'll have to paste, replace, paste, replace, paste, replace. And I don't even know if it's going to line up. I think I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to do a plain color, no shimmer on the front part, I can't decide whether I want to do a lighter shade or a darker shade. So I have orange peel and I have papaya. Decisions. I think we'll stick with the orange peel. Another squeegee. Let's get a smaller one. Let's see if I have a smaller one. Okay. So I'm just going to use this because I'm working in a small area. I just wanted a smaller squeegee, and these are just the size that I've cut in half. I'm just going to, and I'm scraping it along the silk screen, and I'm pulling off as much as I can. And then I'm going to quickly dry that part. And as long as I clean this really well and scrape as much of the paste off as I can replace it on there and keep pasting without making a huge mess. Or without the paste drying in the silk screen. Of course, tone on tone is going to make it really hard to line it up. I probably should have used the darker color. Oh well, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can't even. Whew, that's hard to see. Oh well. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if it's not totally perfect, you can always just kind of sand it to give it a little bit of distressing, and it'll make it look like you did that all on purpose. Actually, that's not terrible. Kind of getting an Easter egg vibe here. Hi, Anna. How are you? So there's a little bit of the, you can see a little bit of the difference. Thanks, Anna. Okay, so I'm going to place it back down. I hope you can all see that. Line it up again as best as I can. I'm literally eyeballing it. So this is the third time I've placed it back down, or placed it down. And I'm just taking the chalk paste along the silkscreen area, trying to get as much of that off as I can. I think we just have a little bit more to go. Okay, one more little area. So again, just dipping the squeegee in the chalk paste. So what are you up to these days, Anna? I haven't seen you in forever. Okay. So there's that one. Well, thank you. It's good to reconnect with you too. there's just a few slight imperfections where I didn't get the pattern lined up, but it does not matter to me. So then that's going to be the top of our pumpkin. So we've got polka dots in the back, a little herringbone pattern in the front. Although I forgot about stems. So I got to figure out what I'm going to use for a stem. Okay, so I'm going to use the other 4 on this side. And again, I'm going to use the whole paste, peel, and replace method that we used on the other side. I'm not using a whole lot of paste, just so I don't have as much to remove. But you want to try to scrape it as clean as you can so that it's easier to place back down. Okay, so we'll just kind of eyeball this. I think I need to move it over, but I don't think I can. Okay, so again, I'm just going to put a little bit of paste on my squeegee. And I'm just going to pull it across the silk screen area, scraping it as clean as I can. Okay, so then we're going to lay it back down. Gently rub it in place. I've still got a little bit of chalk paste left. Pull that one up. Okay. Just a little tiny section left. Oops. Got a little bit left. I can just use that. Okay, so we'll put all that excess back in. Put my lid on. We'll dry that. I'm going to put this one to the side and spray it with water. So then we're going to pull, remember we did this design inside the box frame, but I had to clean that transfer. So it's been hiding out in my in the microfiber part of my fuzzing towel. And it's pretty dry. So then we'll put it back inside the box frame. Well, I'll try not to make as big of a mess this time as I did the last time. So I'm just going to rub this down. I think using a smaller squeegee will work. Maybe a little less chalk paste. So I'm just going to rub that down and make sure it's good and adhered. Okay, so then we'll pull our white back out. And I'll just dip my squeegee into the chalk paste. And I'm just going to spread the white around the silk screen. Just getting it all spread out. Try not to make as big of a mess as I made on the other one. The smaller squeegee seems to be helping. So now I'm just going to try to smooth out all my lines. Get off all that excess because I can use it for another project. So I can scrape all of this back in. I tell you, I end up with more of it on me than I do on, well, let's just use these. Than I do on my surface. Okay, so we're just going to peel this up. And spray it down just until I can get to my utility sink. It's fairly distressed, but I don't mind that. Not quite the It's definitely less messy this time. Okay, so I've got my glue gun on. So we're going to glue down. Get some of this stuff out of my way. Pull this around so I can reach it. Okay, so we're going to glue the polka dot pumpkins down first. And I want them as far apart as I can. That way I can put a stem down there. I just don't know what I'm going to use for my stem yet. That may be after the show. And I've got Gorilla Glue in my glue gun. Let's just press that down. So that's the back part of our pumpkin. So now we'll put down the top part. Ouch. Press that down. It's not wanting to stick for some reason. Probably because I put all the glue in the middle. Press that down. And it comes out. Get that off before it dries on there. Okay, so there's that pumpkin. Glue the other side. Oops. Another glue stick. Uh-oh. Get that glued down. Press it and hold for a little bit. Okay, so then we'll get the center put on. Press down. Done with my glue gun. Hopefully. Okay, so now we get to add all the fun little embellishments to it. Okay, that's good and done. These were just on there to mark where my tops were. And I'm going to add some of these little cup hooks to the top. Or not really, I think they're more called eye hooks, but okay, so I have those 4. And what I did is I took my pokey tool or my awl, and this is soft enough wood that I was able to create 2 starter holes. So I'm just going to take my little eye hook, maybe. These are a little tricky sometimes, especially because these are so tiny. Once I get it in there, I have another little turning trick to show you. So if you ever have an eye hook that gives you some troubles or give you some resistance, like larger ones, you can put a screwdriver in there. This one, I'm just putting my pokey tool in there and kind of using it as like a handle, and it screws down pretty good. So there's that one. So I have one eye hook on there. So then I'm going to put another one in here. It does help to put your starter hole in there. So I'm just going to wind my pokey tool kind of like a handle. It makes them a lot easier to turn. Okay, so there's my 2 eye hooks on that one. And I put in holes already on here. You could also maybe grab some pliers. I just like the way this works because it's easy just to turn it. Sometimes these are a booger to get in, especially if you're putting them in a harder surface. This is a pretty soft surface, soft wood. Okay, so now our eye hooks are in both frames. Put my stuff away so it doesn't get overwhelming. So then I have my twine and my beads, and we're just going to make a little beaded handle. So I'm going to cut off some decent sized pieces of twine. And open up my beads. Let me get a little container to put those in so I don't end up all over the place. So I'm just going to double up my twine. So I've got it doubled. And then I'm just going to string these beads onto each side. I don't know how many to do. We'll have to see. And it just kind of depends on how long you want your handle. And I think we'll do one more on this side anyway. So I'm going to take my other piece. I'm going to string it through the hook, double it up. I like to double it because then I don't have a knot down here at the bottom. And then your beads are closer to your eye hook without a bulky knot at the bottom. But you have to make sure your bead holes are thick enough to accommodate 2 pieces of twine. Which they're starting to unravel. There. I'm still beading. 2 more. Okay, so now I have 6 beads on each strand, and I think, oh, maybe that's too many. No. Probably should have done my cup hooks wider out, but so what I just tie these in a knot up here at the top. Oops. And then I just cut these. And then I can take my little pokey tool or you can just spin these backwards and kind of get them to fray. Spin them in the opposite direction that they're twisted together. And they'll kind of unfray a little bit. And then once you get them unwound, you can fray them a little more. So then you've got your cute little hanger. So go ahead and do the other one, and you can add ribbon if you want to. I'm not for sure I'm going to. Like, I have these like embroidery floss and twine here that I thought I might just tie around one of the eye hooks, or you could even tie it in the middle of a couple of the beads. I don't know. I'll have to think on that. I still have to figure out what I want to use for a stem. So we'll just quickly bead the other one. So again, double up my twine. I'm going to add 6 beads to one side. Hey, Peggy. Thank you. So there's 4. I do have a cart link linked in the description so you can browse some of the supplies that I used today. You can add, it just opens up and your cart is already full of everything, and you can add or delete as needed. I also have other links to other my other website, my social media channels, all that fun stuff. Information about Club Couture, information about joining Chalk Couture, either as a hobbyist or if you want to build a team, or if you're like me and your wish list was way bigger than your wallet, or if you just want to buy the product to make finished pieces to either give as gifts, keep for yourself, or sell on Etsy or boutiques, that kind of thing, farmers markets. Just over here beading, not paying a bit of attention to how many I have. Get a different one. Okay, so now I have 6 on both sides, and I'm just going to tie them together at the top. I'm kind of thinking sometimes less is more, and I may not add any ribbon embellishments. What do you guys think? So I'm just going to unfray them by twisting them in the opposite direction that they're wound in. I'm just going to take my little pokey tool and separate them even more. Get them good and frayed. Jason says he likes simple. Okay, so there, with just a few supplies I made, minus their stems. I still have to put stems and maybe a few leaves. I made some cute little pumpkin box frames, and you can't see it real well, but they do stand. Like you could put them, if you used wire instead of twine, this would stand up a little better, and you could use it on your tiered tray or in your little decor groupings. They do sit, so they could be a shelf sitter. Or you could hang them on the wall, or you could hang them from the side of your tiered tray if you wanted to do it that way. So pretty cute, if I do say so myself. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but really like how those turned out. So we did the shimmer pumpkin on with the polka dots on the background of the pumpkin, and then this side of the pumpkin has the little herringbone pattern, and then this was the welcome star tile pattern on that background. So with that, I'm gonna sign off for the day. I do have a workshop this afternoon from 1 to 3, and that is listed on my Facebook page if you're interested in coming and trying out some of the products. Just look for the event page on my Facebook page. I'll be back live tomorrow at 4 with a project, another pumpkin project, so out of Jenga blocks. So hop on at 4 o'clock and see what I do with that. So I'm going to sign off. Have a great Saturday. Spend time with your family if you can, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.